Hello Hylians! Lynels dropped some of the best items in Zelda Breath of the Wild, and today we'll learn all the items they dropped, what they do, and the only places to get them. If you don't know me, I'm Nico and I love collecting and doing everything possible in Zelda games. If you need help doing or collecting everything in Zelda games, I hope you consider subscribing or at least checking out the channel. First, let me say that this isn't a video on how to defeat Lynels. I do have a dedicated video for that one. You can check the card in the corner or the link in the description. This video is specifically about all the parts they drop, including weapons, bows, shields, and materials. We will then talk about all the locations for Lynels. What's important to know is that there's different levels or tiers of Lynels which show by their color. Level 1 is red, Level 2 is blue, Level 3 is white, Level 4 is silver, and there's level 5 which is gold, which is only in master mode, which comes with the DLC. It's also important to know that in master mode, all enemies will be one level higher from the start of the game. Enemies that normally start as red will be blue instead, and so on with the other enemies. And as you play through the game, enemies do get stronger depending on how many enemies you defeat in the game. It's like a hidden experience point system. Basically, the more enemies you defeat, the higher levels the enemies become. And the higher Lynel level, the more or better items they drop. There are specific parts that only Lynels drop, and those are the Lynel horns, hooves, and guts. Each Lynel will drop 1 or 2 horns. White, silver, and gold Lynels will always drop hooves and guts. Just the red and blue ones have a smaller chance to drop them. And if the Lynel is carrying an elemental arrow, they may drop those elemental arrows instead of hooves, which can be a decent way to farm some elemental arrows in the game. I'll show you later which Lynels carry which arrows. Addition to those parts that they drop, silver and gold Lynels can also drop 2 or 3 topaz, sapphires, rubies, diamonds, and star fragments. So farming for Lynels may be a decent additional way to farm diamonds and star fragments. You do need Lynel parts to upgrade some gear. Each piece of the barbarian gear needs 1 Lynel horn for the first upgrade, 3 horns and 2 hooves for their second upgrades, 4 hooves and 1 guts for the third upgrade, and 2 guts for their fourth upgrade. Each piece of the Fierce Deity gear needs 5 guts for their 4th upgrade. Each piece of the Radiant gear needs 1 guts for the 4th upgrade. Each piece of the Soldier's gear needs 2 hooves and 2 guts for the 4th upgrade. That's a total of 12 horns, 24 hooves, and 33 guts. Not only do Lynels drop materials, but they do drop some of the best weapons, bows, and shields in the game. Red Lynels drop Lynel crushers, Lynel spears, Lynel swords, and Lynel shields, and Lynel bows. Blue ones drop Mighty Lynel crushers, spears, swords, shields, and bows. And white, silver, and gold ones drop the Savage set, which are probably the best weapons in the game. As a side note, in Master Mode, because the Lynels start at blue instead of red, the blue ones will be the ones that carry the first level Lynel weapons. Each Lynel in their location carries specific weapons, which again we'll talk about later, but I will say that some of these weapons are missable. This is because when the red Lynels upgrade to blue, or the blue ones to the white ones in Master Mode, their weapons will no longer be available. So if you're the type to keep things that you may miss, get them before you can't. I do have a video on all the missable things in the game. You can check the card in the corner or the link in the description. There is a chance for those weapons to have modifiers to make them even stronger. So sometimes you can save before you defeat the Lynel, check the weapon that you get, then reload and defeat them again if it's a weapon that you don't want. This is a great idea if you want to get something with attack up, durability up, or the 5-shot Savage Lynel bow. Again, if you are looking for how to defeat Lynels, I do have a separate video on Lynel attack patterns and the best way to deal with them. Check the card in the corner or the link in the description. Now for the ways to collect and find their drops. I'm going to show you where all the Lynels are and what weapons they hold. And I should mention that if they do carry swords, then they also carry shields. Then, if you want to use Lynels to collect some elemental arrows, I will show you all the Lynels again, but by which elemental arrows they drop. I first want to talk about the 2 Lynels in Hyrule Castle. They both have a sword and a shield, and they will always be blue in normal mode and white in master mode. That means that they will always have the Mighty Lynel sword, shield, and bow. so they aren't missable. But some of you might say that after you defeat the Lynel, their parts will disappear. But there is a trick. I have no idea why this works, but if you save when the Lynel appears and then reload your game, after you defeat the Lynel, they will drop their weapons. Here are the other locations of the Lynels by region, starting with the 3 in the northern Tabanthan snowfield. The one on the left has a crusher, the middle one has a sword, and the one to the right has a spear. There's one all the way in the west, not worth going to, but that one has a crusher. There's one south of the Tabantha Bridge, that one has a crusher. In the field west of the Lost Woods, this one has a spear. In the northern Badlands, there are 3. Starting with the west, that one has a spear, the second one has a crusher, and the one to the right has a sword. In Akala, there's 2. One has a sword, and the one north of that has a spear. There's one in Ploymus Mountain, but this one is always red, so it will always have a Lynel sword and shield. In Master Mode, it will be blue. South of the Talus Plateau, that Lynel has a sword. West of Mount Lynel, at the Lynel Road East Gate, that one has a sword. On top of the mountain north of Farron Tower, that Lynel has a spear. In the plains all the way in the south, the southern one has a crusher and the one north of that has a spear. There's one in the Colosseum that has a fire sword instead of a Lynel sword when it's a higher level. In the Gerudo Highlands there's 2. There's one in the east that has a crusher and there's one to the west that has a spear. And finally, there's one in Master Mode, and that Lynel is on the Great Plateau which has a crusher. If you're looking to farm them, just fight them all after a blood moon, but you don't need to fight all of them. There's a few that are easy to get because they're close to a shrine. First, I usually go to the 2 in the south. There's one in the Gerudo Highlands. It's okay to go there if you have a Raleig's Gale because it's up a mountain. The one on the Great Plateau is white in Master Mode, but it does carry bomb arrows, which I'll mention again later. The Tabantha Bridge Stable 1 is very close to the shrine. The 3 in the Tabantha Snowfield is great because they're all together. You can even fight 2 at once if you want to try. The 3 in the northern Badlands is difficult to get, but I usually like to wind bomb west from the Typhlo ruins, then I ride the bike north to fight the other 2. And the 2 in Akala aren't actually super close to a shrine, but they're too close together, so it might be worth the trip. Now if you're looking for elemental arrows, here are clips from my arrow collecting video. And if you want to watch the whole video, check the card in the corner or the link in the description. 3 Lynels that drop fire arrows are the middle Lynel in the Tabantha Snowfield, the Lynel in the middle of the field east of the Serene Stable, and the Lynel in the Akala Valley. You can also get them from 3 specific Lynels, and they are the one in the Lynel Road East Gate, West Lynel in the Tabantha Snowfield, and the Lynel west of Hebra. Shock arrows are the easiest of the elemental arrows to get if you're okay with fighting Lynels. Of all 23 Lynels in the game, 15 of them drop shock arrows, and they have a potential to drop up to 40 shock arrows. And I already mentioned earlier, but bomb arrows, you can get them at the Great Plateau Lynel. That's about all I got for Lynel drops. I hope this is very informative, and I hope you learned a lot. Again, if you need help fighting Lynels, you should check out this video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you consider subscribing for more Zelda content, and I'll see you next time.